I had wanted to be a YouTuber like my whole life. I don't think it's hard for me to be the way that I am in my videos because I don't film when I'm not feeling good. If I'm having a panic attack, like my first instinct isn't to pick up my camera.
And your videos are very aesthetic.
I feel like I have such a vision for the way I want my videos to look. I honestly think the video quality makes a huge difference. My last camera, the G7X, it would go out of focus all the time. The one I have now, it's the and this one compared to that, I'm like, oh my gosh.
Sophie DiLoreto is a YouTube creator who's built a thriving community with nearly 200,000 subscribers, focused on lifestyle, wellness, and personal growth. Through her platform, Glow and Tell, she's amassed a dedicated following by sharing insights on self-care, romanticizing everyday life, and becoming your best self.
I think after I started doing it for a while and realized how many opportunities can come out of it and how much money you can make, I was like, this is literally what I've wanted to do my whole life. Like, why would I want to go get a job?
Was there a moment behind the scenes where you felt out of your depth as a creator?
Well, I do have bad anxiety. I've mentioned that on my YouTube channel a lot. And I get to the point where I'm like, I want to do this more than I'm scared of what people are going to think about me. Like, I want to do this so bad. I can't get it out of my head. Like, it eventually
You have created this really beautiful brand on YouTube. You've got a whole aesthetic. When was a moment that you realized that this was the path that you wanted to pursue with your YouTube content?
That's a good question because I feel like it definitely has sort of evolved over time, but I think it's always been like a reflection of me. So it's kind of like the things I like and the things that I, decorate my room with or like my house with are kind of the things that I like to implement into my content as well. So maybe at the start, it wasn't quite so like pink and girly, but then over time, if I was like kind of more interested in those things, that has sort of integrated into my content as well, So I feel like over time, it's just a reflection of me into my content. I try to keep it as like authentic as possible. So if there are things I love, I want to show them in my content and I feel like I've always just loved like pretty things, like really beautiful things. So I have always loved making my room super pretty and like spending a lot of time curating my space. So I feel like it's almost only inevitable that I do the same with my content. Like I like to keep a good mix of what I think is like curated and aesthetic, but also in a realistic way. Like it's not like I feel like my content, I feel like you don't watch it and think that this is some like crazy, unrealistic life. It's truly my life and like how I live my days. So I feel like I like to just show how I make things a little bit cuter and more fun or special on a daily basis, like romanticizing my life and also show my viewers and my audience like how they can do the same.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. A lot of creators struggle to find their niche, but your channel and your content really does have a really cohesive style and message to it. Was there a turning point for you from when you started your channel to now to where you really found that authentic voice?
I think it was definitely something that developed. I don't know if I can pinpoint like an exact moment, but I know when I first started, it was like I would maybe do a thumbnail style that I had seen before. I would do something super basic. Like I remember vividly doing like 3 pictures, Arial bold italic text, like same thing for every single one. And then I think I started getting more comfortable with my content. I started like, I don't know, things started to pick up a little bit. I felt like I started to grow a bit of a community. And then I was like, okay, I'm more comfortable with doing this super basic editing and like super basic branding. I kind of want to learn new things or like make it more special. Or oftentimes for me, it was like I had a very clear vision of what I wanted a video to look like or something, but I didn't necessarily at the start know how to execute it. So I think over time, I was able to learn the new skills that I wanted to learn as I picked up old skills, like it was like a continuous learning process to where then I could create the content I wanted to create. So it was like I always had a vision, but I wasn't necessarily able to execute it until I gained the skills over time to bring it to life. You know what I mean?
How long did that take for you though, to like really feel like you were proficient at YouTube?
I feel like from the time I started consistently posting, which was like June of 2023, probably by December, January, like January 2024, I was kind of settling into a certain style I liked. I'd found like certain fonts that I really liked or, little transitions I liked. And then, so probably like maybe 6, 7 months or something like that. And at that point, I was like, okay, now I'm starting to feel like this is me. Like you watch this video and it feels like me and my content. And it's like, I was able to kind of inject my personality into it at that point. Whereas before that, it was like, I'm still learning. I'm like trying to figure it out.
Yeah. And were you uploading how often a week were you uploading?
So I have like a few videos on my channel that are like very old, like 5 years old or something. But I probably posted like 6 videos total over the course of like 4 or 5 years. So I consider when I started my channel like June of 2023, because that was when I was like, okay, I'm doing this. And then I started posting once a week. So June of 2023, it was like 4 videos a month. July, it was 4 videos a month. And then in August, I graduated college. So I was like, done. I was like, I have time now. And if I'm about to be applying to jobs and like getting a real big girl job, like this is the best time. I have some time right now, might as well give it a shot. So in August, I actually started posting twice a week. And that was definitely like, that grew me a lot faster. And I felt like that was like a great idea, kind of. So since then, I've still kind of tried to do twice a week. Sometimes it's like only once, but for the most part, 2 times a week now.
Yeah, and so I want to dig into this a little bit because you said when you decided to go all in or really take YouTube seriously was June, and
Yeah.
then you really started to feel like you had that feeling of like, oh wow, I understand YouTube about 6 months later, 6 to 7 months later, and if you're doing twice a week, say starting in August. But that's 8 video months: August, September, October, November, like 8, September, 30, 40. I mean, like that's something like 50 to 60 videos
Yep.
until you felt like you were really proficient at YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I think I was really good at doing like super basic edits. And actually, I was using iMovie at first. So like iMovie was all those first videos and it was super, super limited. It was like you can only use, I don't even know. I vividly remember that for text with iMovie, it was like the text could only dissolve in and dissolve out. You couldn't just like make there be text. And I was so frustrated. So actually, December was when like I think my mom got me like a new laptop and she got Final Cut Pro on my laptop for me. So then I had Final Cut Pro and I was like, whoa. So learning Final Cut Pro, I think was actually what kind of like allowed me to do all these different things with my editing and really start to step things up. And I think that's why I sort of feel like December and January was when maybe my personal brand developed a bit more and I was able to get like more into it. Cause before that I was great at doing the Arial bold italic thumbnail, the 3 pictures, the like basic edits. But then I was like, okay, now I can do more, artsy, like
Yeah.
cinematic kind of videos. So
Yeah. And then how many at that point in time where you had that little bit of that shift, how many subscribers did you had? And do you remember like how many views roughly you were getting on your videos?
yeah, I think by December it was like I had 35,000 subscribers. And
Mhm.
I don't even know if I can remember the amount of views I was getting. Maybe it was like 15,000, 30 to 40,000. Sometimes they would do better. Like I would
Mhm.
sometimes have, videos that would do a lot better, but it was like I was growing by like 10 to 15K a month
Yeah, that's
approximately at
pretty
that time.
good.
Yeah, it was definitely it was like a big change. It was like I had gone from never making YouTube videos and then in a few months I was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm doing this." Like
Yeah. So you graduated from college and then you said, I'm going to upload twice a week. Are you right now or then are you also working another job?
no. So
Okay.
after that, I was like applying to so many jobs. I got like 2 interviews in that whole time. It was like
Yeah.
not
You're like, not good.
yeah, no, like the jobs are not coming through, but I kept applying. So like that whole summer I was posting all those videos, I was going ham, but I was like, "No, I'm still going to get a job." And then I started like making more money than I was even getting for like job offers. Like it
Yeah.
just didn't make sense. I don't know. I started to feel like I think at first as well, I was like, this could never be a career. Like it could never be something I do full time. And also I was like, I just got this degree. I just went into debt for this. Like I'm not about to waste it. I still kind of struggle with that feeling, but I think after I started doing it for a while and realized how many opportunities can come out of it and how much money you can make and like you can do something you love, make money, like make a living off of it. I was like, this is literally what I've wanted to do my whole life. Why would
Mhm.
why would I want to go get a job?
Yeah.
I could do this. So I think my viewpoint started to change. And then after maybe like a year or like 6 months of applying to so many jobs and getting like not
Nowhere,
nothing.
yeah.
We were getting like offers where I would have to go like 2 hours commute every day and it was
Huh.
like not paid super well. I couldn't, and if I were to take the job, I would have to like really step back on YouTube. And I was like loving doing YouTube and I didn't want to. So I kind of stopped applying to jobs. And now this is like all I'm doing, like full in.
Wow, that's so interesting. So what did you go to school for? What were you studying?
Environmental science. So
Oh,
yeah.
interesting.
So I'm still really passionate about environmental science and I want to be able to do something with that too. But then, yeah, this is something I still struggle with. Like, it's super interesting to me, but there
Mhm.
aren't actually a ton of opportunities
Yeah.
where I live. Like, I couldn't find many jobs. So I'm still not sure how the future is going to look for me with that, but it's still something I'm very passionate about and interested in. But yeah, for the meantime, this is what I'm doing.
You're like, "I am a lifestyle YouTuber from
Yeah,
environmental science to lifestyle
exactly.
YouTuber." So when you started your channel at that point or when you started to be more committed to it, like the summer, it
Mhm.
sounds like after you graduated,
Yeah.
what was your goal with it at the beginning? Was it just like an outlet? Did you wanna make money from it?
I had wanted to be a YouTuber like my whole life, like since
Mhm.
middle school. You know, when like beauty gurus, I don't know if you were beauty gurus were like running rampant on YouTube
Oh, no,
when I
I
was
know,
like,
that's like yeah, I've been doing this for, like, 10 years, so
oh my
that's
God,
kind of
yeah.
what got me into it was all those
Yeah,
beauty gurus and stuff. Yep.
exactly. So I would see that and I was like 12, 13. I
Mhm.
was like, oh my gosh, this is everything I
Yeah.
love. Like, I love makeup, beauty. They're traveling, like, they're doing all these fun things. This is literally what I want to do. I mean, I obviously didn't know at that point, like, if people made money from it. I don't even know if I thought like
Mhm.
that, but I was like, this is so cool. I want to be able to do this. Like, I want to have these experiences too. So I wanted to do it forever. I would always record little videos on my phone, like my iPod Touch, my first iPhone 4. Like, I would literally record videos as if I was a YouTuber. I'd just be like, hey guys, like,
Yeah.
and I had nobody watching, I wasn't posting them. But so it was always like a dream. And
Mm.
the first obstacle for me there was like, oh my gosh, everyone at school is gonna know. Like, it sounds so stupid now, but I think when you're that age, it feels like the biggest thing in the world if everyone at your school were to make fun of you. And I also think that now it might be different because I feel like it's a lot more normalized, but especially then, it wasn't like a typical thing. So I even remembered hearing some of my favorite YouTubers I would watch, they would say that like, "Oh my gosh, yeah, my teacher put my YouTube videos on in front of the class and like everyone laughed at me." And I was like, I can't imagine. So I was really scared of what people would think, and I didn't start for years for that reason. And then I
Mm.
actually started online high school in 11th grade, and it was because I had terrible anxiety. So I started
Mm.
online school, and then I was like, now no one can say anything to me. I might as well start. So that was when I posted my like first ever video. But
Mm.
then online school was like a lot of work and my I was super anxious. I had super bad anxiety. So like those 2 years of 11th and 12th grade, you know, like graduating high school, I barely posted either. And I think it was always like a dream. And then in college, I was like, oh my gosh, doing schoolwork a lot. It was very time consuming. I never felt like I could have the time because college was a priority. I probably could have made time for it if I really, really tried. But I was taking really hard classes. It was really time consuming and I wanted like straight A's. So that's why when I graduated college, I was like, oh my gosh, I need to do this now. I've never stopped wanting to do this. Like, it would be a crime to not try.
Yeah, yeah. It especially considering you had gotten some traction and you like
Yeah.
it's like in essence, it's like you're creating your dream life
Yeah.
by having the career that you want, not having to do a 2-hour
Exactly.
commute.
Oh my God.
Um,
Yeah.
so what does your day or schedule look like now every week? And you're uploading now two
That's
times
right.
a week? Yeah. So what does your life look like as a full-time content creator?
I feel like it's super hectic. This is something else I struggle with is like balancing the grind with like, let's live a balanced life. But I post 2 YouTube videos a week, but I also have a podcast, which I started last year, that I try to post once a week. That's hard too.
Mhm.
And then I also am trying to post like a short form video every day. So I'm like trying to post a TikTok every
Every
day.
day?
I'm trying. It's not
Yeah.
working. But
Yeah.
so the grind for that has been a little bit difficult and I feel like I haven't perfected balancing it all, but I plan out my weeks using Notion. So I'll like look at the week, I'll say like, okay, these are the 2 videos I want to make this week. And then if it's like, I don't know, a morning routine and I'm going to film it on Wednesday, I'll plan out like, okay, what day am I going to film this? I'll schedule that in. So then maybe I'm like, oh, I need to buy a few things for this video. Let's do that on this day. Like I kind of look at my week all ahead. Maybe I think about which short form videos am I going to make this week? Let's plan them out. Think about what I might need to get or what I might need to do to film that. I'd say on a daily basis, it's like wake up at 7:30, I do my morning routine. I try to edit a short form video first thing in the morning after that and like post it to Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, and TikTok. That's like a newer thing. I'm trying to do it every day, but I can't always stay with it. And then after that, it's like YouTube for the rest of the day. So usually answering emails for like an hour, editing probably for like 6 hours or something, basically working as long as until like my mom gets home or like my brother gets home, like they get off work. Like I kind of work the whole day, like a 8 to 5 or
Like a
something.
work day. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it does change a lot. You know, if I'm filming a video, then like the day, like the work of the day is me filming the video and doing whatever I'm going to do in that
Mhm.
video. But I think for the most part, that's what it is. And the bulk of what I do is definitely edit. I feel like that's definitely what's the most time consuming.
Yeah. Yes. How long does that take you per video to do? And your videos are very aesthetic too. It's not just a sit down video.
Yeah, yeah. So they're very like they're kind of curated. I also do
Mhm.
love to do like fun edits and add in different cute text and like cute things. Like I love making them pretty or having like cool cinematic shots. So I would say to edit one video, it's probably like between 5 to 8 hours maybe, but I usually do split it up. Like I'll do like rough cuts on the first day, the second day like the creative cuts because if I do it all in one day, I just it's like too much. It's like
Brain
I
dead. Yeah.
yeah, so
Mhm.
I would say probably between 5 to 8 hours. Like if it's a super highly edited video, it'll be more. If there's one where I'm having tons of like overlays and pictures, like it could be 8 to 12, but I would say a normal video it's like 5 to 7 or 8.
Hours. Yeah. And
Yeah.
so do you have anybody on your team helping you with anything?
No. Yeah, no. Not yet.
Is
So,
that something you've considered?
yeah, I think so, but I think I'm trying to hold out for as long as I can. Like I also think getting an editor would definitely be like the biggest load off of me. It's the thing that's like the most, it's really fun, but it's also the most time consuming and draining. And like when you're just sitting in front of a computer for hours and hours and hours, literally listening to yourself talk for hours, like I'm like, I can't do this anymore. But I really struggle with that because I feel like I have such a vision for the way I want my videos to look. And I'm like, I just don't know. I would either have to completely like relay to the editor exactly what I want and I'm at that point, I'm like, should I just do it myself anyways? Or I don't know. So I kind of struggle with that. Like, I think maybe if I had, a management to take care of the emails and stuff, like
Yeah.
that would be nice in the
Yeah.
future. But I'm trying to like get to the point where I'm like, okay, I can't do this all myself, and then then we'll see.
It's funny. One of the things I tell people that are in this kind of dilemma, it's you
Mhm.
have to have a very strong idea of what you're going to do at that time when it's back.
Oh,
You
that's
know
a
what I'm
good
saying?
point. Yeah.
So it's like if you are thinking, and maybe at this point you're like, I don't really know at this point, and that's totally fine.
Mhm.
I said like I actually enjoy it. I don't know, but if you're thinking, okay, if I can get 15 hours back in my week, is there another project? There's something else that I'm really called to do. Maybe it is a third video, maybe not. Maybe it's doing some different thing different. You have to have it. It has to be so strong that the thought of spending any time on that editing
Mhm.
is you're thinking like, no, I'd much rather be doing this other thing that can help propel me in this direction, right?
Yeah.
So that's one way to help decide, I think.
I think that's a great point because I know
Mhm.
like I have like a whole list of things I want to do. Like I'm very ambitious. I'm like I want to do this, this, this. Like I want to make a
Yeah.
journal. I want to so I feel like I have no shortage of like things I want to do, but I don't know. I'm kind of like maybe it's a gradual thing. Maybe I
Mhm.
perfect one and
You
then
do
move on to
one
the
video a week, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I have people do that where they give up, or they even give up a couple videos a month that are like different videos. And it's like,
Mm,
at least it opens up a little bit of that time and they kind of like tiptoe into that idea of getting an editor.
good
So,
point. Because
yeah.
I've definitely been like not able to do it all. Like I love making my podcast episodes, but I push that if I'm like I push that instead of a YouTube video. I'm like the YouTube is the priority.
Yes, of
Like
course.
the podcast is a second priority, but sometimes it's weeks without one. And then people are like, oh my God, when are you going to post
Why
a
not have
podcast? I'm
somebody
like,
edit the podcast?
I could. Because the podcast editing is really simple.
It's super easy. Yeah.
But yeah, these are definitely things I'm going to have to
Oh.
look into. I think I've just gotten so like used to doing it
Yeah.
myself. Like,
Yeah, you'll figure it out too. I mean, that's usually like the turning point for people, though. It's like, okay,
mhm,
what else could I be doing? You know, because
yeah.
you're obviously making money from it. You're like, for some people, like they're not making any money from their content. They're like, but like this
Oh,
is your business, so it's so you have to just think about it. What's the best? What would you use with that time, and maybe just like tiptoe into
yeah.
it. Where does YouTube fall in line with all of your social media? Because it sounds like you have a TikTok, you have an Instagram, you've got a podcast. Where does YouTube fit in it?
Definitely, it's the number one. It's like I always wanted to be a YouTuber. Like I don't want to
Mhm.
be a TikToker. I wanted to be a YouTuber. And I wouldn't say I always wanted to have a podcast, but since like 2 years ago or something, I really wanted to have a podcast. So those are like the top. YouTube is the number one. It's like my focus. Like most of my eggs are in that basket. But I don't know. I think it's a potentially problematic idea to like put all of your things in one basket and nothing anywhere else. So that's why I'm like, I'm trying to diversify, make sure I'm building up every platform at the same time. I think it helps you be more multifaceted, but YouTube is still the priority, which is why like maybe I won't post on TikTok or YouTube Shorts or Instagram Reels for like a week because I have a YouTube video that's the priority. So like I'm okay with pushing those things, but I still do want to work towards them. So I'm trying to incorporate them into my content strategies and just be multifaceted. But still, yeah, YouTuber is like the number one thing that I will push anything else for YouTube.
Yeah, and so when you're looking at your, say, monthly income, what
Mhm,
percentage of it is coming from directly YouTube? And in that bucket, I would say
mhm.
affiliates from that, AdSense, brand deals from that, versus say TikTok, Instagram, the podcast.
YouTube is definitely the hugest part. Like probably like 90%, 10% the podcast or TikTok and Instagram are like minuscule. TikTok and Instagram are like if I'm doing a brand deal, they might like add on an Instagram post for like a bit more, but it's I don't even at this point it's not like it's a huge bucket of income for me, but AdSense, brand deals and affiliates that I mostly market on YouTube are definitely the biggest thing and then the
Mhm.
podcast is like maybe 10%. So
Yeah, because the podcast, are you getting sponsors with that, or is it just the AdSense?
I have like Red Circle, which gives me, if you know what that is, that's like
No,
the
what's Red
host.
Circle?
It's like the host platform. So that gives me basically like AdSense from, but it's not called AdSense. Like I get royalties from the ads or whatever, like you would from
Is that like
YouTube.
on Spotify?
It's like I originally started with Spotify for podcasters and then I
Mhm.
switched to Red Circle because I heard better things. So Red Circle is like I just host it like my RSS feed and then it
Mhm.
goes to Spotify and everything else, but
Yeah.
they pay me and I do
Mhm.
get like sponsorship offers through there which have only
Yeah.
just recently started coming in and then I do have like a podcast YouTube channel that I get some AdSense from, not crazy like my main YouTube channel but like supplemental income. So I'm
Yeah.
working on building up the side things as well because I think it's hard to really focus on everything, like, especially when you're just starting out. So my thing was like, okay, YouTube was what I really started with. And then after getting pretty comfortable with that, I was like, okay, let's focus more on these other things. And that's kind of where I'm at now. I feel like building up side things while still prioritizing my YouTube channel.
Yeah, I mean, how many hours a week do you work on everything in general?
I don't know. I feel like every day it's what I'm constantly doing. I would say like I try to keep the evenings pretty open, but I'm like working like a person who's at a job. Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
like the majority of the day, maybe until like my mom gets home or something, and then I'm like,
yeah,
okay. But a lot, even on the weekends, because
yeah,
the thing is, like, the more I put in, the more and the faster I will get things out of it, which is so it's hard for me to balance like hustle, 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 like do this with like, okay, let's take some time off for our mental health. And also when you're getting, super exciting sponsorship opportunities, like it's hard not to just be like, oh my God, yeah, I want to do that.
yeah,
Like, yes, I want to go to this. I want to do this. Like, so yeah, I think I've definitely struggled with like putting too much on my plate and being like, oh my gosh, I'm burnt out. But it's kind of hard because I feel like now I'm like, okay, if I hustle now, it'll pay off later, I don't know.
Yeah. No, you're really young, and it's like, yeah, exactly. You hustle and you build yourself a pretty good platform now. You're doing well on YouTube, then you can that's the beauty about a YouTube audience. Any audience, they say, followers are the new currency. It's like you can turn that into something else down the
Yeah.
line, you know.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
in your videos, you project such confidence and positivity. Was there a moment behind the scenes where you felt kind of like out of your depth as a creator? Like you just felt like, oh, how am I going to be able to put this face on?
That is a good question. I feel like, well, I do have bad anxiety. I've mentioned that on my YouTube
Yeah.
channel a lot, but I think that like I only film when I'm wanting to film. I guess like if I have a day where I'm like not doing well, I'm super anxious. I don't feel like filming that day. So I won't pick up my camera and be like, hi guys. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't think it's hard for me to be the way that I am in my videos because I don't like film when I'm not feeling good. Do you know what
Yes.
I mean? I don't know.
Yes.
So I think, I mean, I've even had people say like, "Oh my gosh, is it hard talking to a camera? Like, do you feel kind of awkward or introverted talking to a camera?" I've never struggled with that. I maybe because I started talking to my phone in videos when I was like
When you're little. Yeah.
13,
Hmm.
but I don't know. I guess I feel like if I'm not doing well, I won't post that week and it's fine. Or I just don't feel like filming, I won't film. So I think I don't necessarily struggle with that,
Hmm.
you know?
Yeah. That's good. That in some ways, that's the beauty of having your own business. That's the beauty of creating content, is that you have control over
Yeah.
when you show up. It's not like you're a news anchor or something and you've got to show up. That's your
Yeah.
job. And you can
Mhm.
decide when to do it.
Yeah, and it's not in efforts to be like, I'm like hiding this, but it's like if I'm having a panic attack and I'm super anxious and I'm not feeling well, like my first instinct isn't to pick up my camera, like I'm going through it. So
Yeah.
it's not like I'm trying to like hide things, but it's just that if I'm not feeling great and my stomach hurts and I'm anxious and I have a headache, like I'm just not gonna film.
Yeah. So you said that you went to high school, homeschool, or like
Mhm,
online high school because
mhm,
of anxiety. Is that something
mhm.
that you still struggle with
Yes,
now?
yes.
Okay.
It started coming out when I was in probably like 7th or 8th grade, and it was weird because I felt like as a kid, I was always so like such a performer. I loved to sing, like I loved to dance. I played soccer. I did so many things. And then it was like a flip switched when I got to that age. And I don't know, I think the doctors were saying like around puberty, around that time is when that sort of thing will come out in someone. But since then, yeah, it was like super, super bad, going to so many doctors trying to figure out what's wrong, so many therapists, like, and then I got to a point where I was like, I won't go to school. Like, I think I would have like 30 absences a semester because I was like, I would beg my parents to let me stay home. I would go to school and I just feel so nauseous. I couldn't do it. I totally would like psych myself out. And there wasn't like a huge reason. I can't even think of why I was super anxious at school, but I just was. So I begged my parents to let me do online school. And then I don't think they really wanted to, but they ultimately let me do it. And it ended up being okay. But honestly, I think that was even worse for my mental health because then I was like alone all day. Everyone would go to work and I was by myself. And I was so anxious and so like I didn't want to do school. I would just like sleep until 10:30. It was a rough time. So,
Yeah.
but now I think I'm definitely much better with my anxiety. Like I can function, I can go places. I mean, there was a time when I wouldn't even like get in a car, wouldn't go on a plane, like wouldn't go to the movies. So I think I've definitely made a lot of progress with my anxiety, but it's like it's definitely still there. I don't think it's ever something that I won't like have, maybe unless I took medication, but
Mhm.
I don't want to. I definitely still struggle with it.
So then how do you was still experiencing it, then how
Mhm.
does your job and life as a content creator, influencer now fit into this part of your life of having that anxiety?
I think there can be potentially a struggle between like worrying about the way a video will be perceived. Like that's the first thing that comes to mind. Like, is this what they want to see? Like I want to make the video they want to see. But then also, I read a book recently and it was talking about how as an artist, as all people are like kind of artists in a way, like creatives,
Creators, yeah.
you want to make what you want to make and it's not your job to worry about how it's going to be perceived or make somebody like it. You put out what you want to put out, and the people that like it will come. So I think that's what I remind myself if I ever start going down that path. Like, yes, I'm making this content for the people that watch me and for my community, but at the end of the day, like, I'm making the content I want to make. And I'm putting my heart and soul into this content, and it's the content I want to put out there. And I don't want to make something just because someone asked for it, or maybe that's what they want to see from me. Although I take those things into account, it ultimately is what I want to do and what I want to create. Because if I don't have that passion behind it, I think that would come off as well. And like, I want my channel to be a place where I'm really happy with what I'm putting out. And I think as any sort of creative person, when you put out work that you feel happy about and you feel passionate about and you're confident in it, you feel so much better. So I think that's kind of how I balance the, like, I want to be a perfectionist with this. I really want them to like it. Like, what if they don't like this video? I will so deeply analyze my content. I'll be looking at every frame, like, oh my gosh, are they going to think this about me? Like, are they going to think this? But I kind of just let it go. And I get to the point where I'm like, I want to do this more than I'm scared of what people are going to think about me. Like, I want to post YouTube videos and be a content creator more than I'm scared
And your
about
fear.
what they might say.
Yeah. Yeah. I always say that you have to be stronger than your own fears and insecurities on YouTube. Like,
Yeah.
they're there. They're always going to be there, but you have to feel the
Power
fear
through.
and do it anyways, right? Feel the fear, do it anyways, and power through it. And I think a lot of people can't do that. That's why I think the thought for them of being on YouTube or as a content creator, which is fine, it's not for everybody, but the thought of doing that is so fearful for them that the desire to create content isn't big enough.
Yep. I totally know what you mean. And I feel like for me, the reason I ultimately was like, okay, I don't even care what people think anymore. I don't care that it's going to be time consuming or whatever. Like, I want to do this so bad. I can't get it out of my head. I'm going to do it. Like, it eventually outweighed those fears and everything. And I think, yeah, if you can recognize that in yourself, like as a tipping point, it's really powerful, because then you're able to do what you love. And I mean, you're going to be scared, like doing new things, but exactly like you said, feel the fear and do it anyway. That's what I try to tell myself all the time. Cause if I listened to all of my anxiety things, like, I wouldn't do anything, or I wouldn't go anywhere.
That's the thing. When you mentioned earlier that you had a lot of anxiety, I'm like, that's interesting, because with this type of job, it could get the better of you.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. I mean, even like getting a negative comment, and I'm like, how could they say that? Like,
Yeah. That's
I feel like I'm
hard.
so sensitive, but like you said, like, I've just gotta power through, not care. It's really easy to say like you don't care, but I try to take the positive and negative feedback, like, with a grain of salt. Like, if I let the positive feedback be the crutch that I stand on, and if I let the positive and like the positive nice comments be everything that fulfills me, that would be a problem too, because then if that wasn't there, it's like I wouldn't have any sense of self or any sense of worth. So I try to do with both the positive and the negative comments, like, okay, this is, it's here, it's an opinion, I can take it into consideration if I want. It's nice when people say nice things, but it's not what gives me my sense of worth. And same thing with the negative. Like, they can say this, but it doesn't mean it's true. They don't know the whole story and they don't know what's going on. So kind of just take it with a grain of salt.
It's so true. It's so true. I always say you cannot value your own self-worth based upon the types of comments that you're getting and how well a video is performing. Because what happens is that when a video does really well, then what happens when it goes down? Then your whole self-worth goes down with it. And that's a very hard thing
Oh,
for
yeah.
creators,
Or like,
especially young ones like yourself, like people that started really young, where their own sense of self hasn't really even been developed yet. I find that, because I work with a lot of different creators, different ages, that, you know, for some of the creators that are older and they've already gone through their career, or they're married, or the kids, like, they've already established a sense of self. But even they have, it's very, it can still be
wow.
hard. But someone for you, it's very, like, it's refreshing to see like your attitude about it, that you definitely have thought a lot about this, and that there's a lot of self-awareness there in
Mhm.
the situation.
Yeah, I think like the first time I got a comment that was even sort of mean or something, I was like up all night thinking about it. I was like
Yeah.
almost just hurt. I also think what would bother me was that a lot of times the comments weren't even like true. It was like they just said something that wasn't true, or like they didn't know the whole story and they made an assumption or something. And I'm like, this just isn't true. And part of me wants to be like, oh my God, no, you're so wrong. But like, I just don't even engage and don't think about like, don't give it a second thought. And I think at the start when I first like got a mean comment and was so like shaken by it, I had to be like, we can't do this. Like, this is not, and because I also thought any prominent person, any person who is like in any sort of public eye or does anything worth mentioning or like notable is going to have criticism. It's just part of it. If I want to put
Yes.
myself out there like this, I open myself up to criticism. It's part of it. And I have to accept that if this is something I want to do, you know?
Yeah. It's part of the price you pay for being a public figure.
Exactly.
And the sooner that you can come, not you, but like people can come to terms with it, then the better, because it's like you're gonna, I always tell people, like, you're gonna deal with it. It's just a rite of passage. It's like, it's gonna happen. So yeah, you can't let it get to you. So then how do you then balance the idea of creating for yourself and your own creative desires and needs and fulfillment with the algorithm and performing well on YouTube?
That's a good point. I I kind of got to a point where maybe at the start I was like, you know, watching every video I could find on YouTube about like what to do, how to please the YouTube algorithm, like how to be successful on YouTube. And then I got to a point where I was like, I want to make the content I want to make. And maybe if I make like, I don't know, a travel vlog and it doesn't perform as well as my other videos because not everyone wants to watch a travel vlog, or like I don't post them as often. So it's not the bulk of my content. Maybe it doesn't perform as well, but I still want to make it and like I still want to document it. So I think what I've decided is like maybe in a month, I will decide on a few videos that I want to do. And I also anticipate will potentially perform well, that my audience typically likes, but that also I like to film. And then maybe like one or two more creative videos that I really want to do, regardless of whether I anticipate they will perform well. So, like, maybe that's a travel vlog. Maybe it's just something very experimental that I've never tried before. Because I think the worst thing, in my opinion, would be like being completely boxed in and then making any type of different content and being like, oh my gosh, I can't do that because they won't like it. Like, I just think there might be people out there who will like it. I don't want to prohibit myself from doing something I want to do because, oh my gosh, maybe it won't perform well. And I think that's also the beauty of like starting to diversify and being on several different platforms. And, you know, I think once I started posting like podcasts and other things, I wouldn't even look as much at my YouTube analytics because I'm like doing other things. They weren't as significant to me because I was doing so many other things. So I wouldn't sit here and be like, oh my gosh, is my video doing well? Like, I'm doing other things and I kind of keeping myself busy with other things. So that's not what I hyperfixate on,
Yeah.
you know?
I do know. It's funny because I have a client and I love her, but she does like maybe one video a month. And that video, if it doesn't perform, she works full time and all that. She has like a career and it's actually driving business to her services and stuff. And and she has done well considering how little she uploads. But like if that video, she's like texting me like, it's 5 out of 10. Okay. And then I get a text 2 hours later. It's going up 3 out of 10. And then I get another text. It's 7 out of 10. What do I do with my thumbnail? You know, it's like, and it's fine. I'm there to help her. I'm like, she's
But
like,
it's
you're my
so much
YouTube therapist.
pressure.
But I'm like, when you do only one video a month or two videos a month or what you put exactly what you said, right? You put so much pressure on that one piece of content for you because you are diversifying, which is not easy for everybody. You're doing this full time. So you have the bandwidth. You don't have
For
kids.
sure.
This is your life right now. And like you said, this hustle is going to hopefully pay off, you know, down the line with whatever you're doing. So now you're in the right season to be doing it right now. Right. But, it does. It kind of lessens the load of that one individual video.
Yeah. And I've tried to also just like almost have no expectations. Like, I'm going to put this video out there. I don't want to say this is a video that should do really well. I want to just post a video and be like, we'll see. Like, we'll see if it does well.
Yeah, it's a good attitude.
Yeah, because otherwise I'm going to be like, this video was supposed to do well and it's not doing well. Whereas I will have videos that I'm like, I don't even know if this is going to do well, but I'm going to post it and then it does well. So I try to just like post it and go, not look at the analytics like until maybe a week later or something if I'm trying to like see what worked and what didn't. But yeah, I think that mentality is the best for your mental health in general, you know?
Yeah, and going back to your point on creating for yourself, right? It's like it's even worse if you're creating a piece of content that you're not passionate about and then it doesn't do well, right? It's like,
Yeah.
if you're really excited about it, then like, and I have a lot of clients that say, they're like, you know what? I don't care how well it does because it's just a piece of content I really wanted to do. But
Mm.
like, say you're doing something that like you don't want to do, or you're doing it for the algorithm, and then it doesn't, you put a bunch of work into it and it feels like a heavy lift because you don't love it, and then it doesn't do well.
Exactly. And I find myself, if there's a video that I'm not super excited about and I'm not feeling like super passionate about it and I make it, I'm like not wanting to even edit it. It's like a dread for me. I'm like, I don't even
Mm,
want to open up my laptop. I will spend so many hours just like
not doing it.
not doing it because
Yeah.
I don't want to do it. And I'm like, why did I make this video? But whereas if there's a video I'm so excited about, I like cannot wait to start editing it and like
Mm.
bring the creative vision to life. So yeah, I definitely think that's why you can't just be like, what do you guys want to see? And like only do that. I think it's like take that into consideration,
Mhm.
but and I feel like for the most part, the things that my audience likes to see are things I was already making because like they came to my channel
For that.
because yeah. So it's like
Mhm.
it seems like it works out when you balance it.
Yeah. What are some of the biggest mistakes that you see new creators making that are in your space of like this lifestyle and
Mhm.
having like your personal brand and all that? What are some of those mistakes that you're seeing?
I think the biggest thing that comes to mind is make content that you would watch. So, like, if you look back at your own video and you're like, yeah, I'm looking all around the room, having a bunch of pauses in my talking, I'm not looking at the camera, I'm not speaking clearly, the pacing is really, really slow. Like, if you genuinely watch your video very objectively, would it be something you want to watch? Because I think that oftentimes maybe we can be a little biased to our own content, but I think if I try looking at my content from a very like fresh lens and I'm like, okay, what would I think of this if I didn't know me and I didn't watch my videos? Would this be extremely boring? Like, would it be really boring to watch me clean for like 10 minutes straight, uncut? Like, things like that. So I think being very critical of your content that you're making. And the other thing I think is like, when you start making content, I feel like you really change the way that you view content. And I didn't really anticipate this being a thing, but I went from being just like a typical viewer, observer of content, a consumer, to an analyst of the content I was
Mm.
watching. And that
Yeah.
was something that I think really helped me figure out what I wanted to do in my videos. And like, I wasn't just watching videos to watch them anymore. I was watching to see, like, okay, what are they doing with their editing? What are they doing with their text? So I think a mistake new creators might make is I don't want to say making like boring content, but making content that may not hold people's attention, that may not be the best quality. They may not be talking directly to the camera. And I think it can just be like a waste of time. Even I look at my early content and I'm like, ooh, yikes. Like I was really but I mean it can be a learning curve for everyone. It's not a bad thing to do that. But I think if you really step outside and you're like, okay, is this thumbnail good? Is this thumbnail actually good? Let me look at the thumbnails of people I like to watch and not copy their thumbnails, but like what is working for them? Why did I want to click on this title? Like why is this video holding my attention? And use all of those things to make your own content so that it really does grasp people, hold their attention. Because I think making content just to make content, unless it's just like a straight up hobby that you want to do, I don't think it might be the best way to go about it. Because if you can make quality content that does hold people's attention, that isn't boring, or like they say, like unselfish content, like content that's going to help your audience in some way. Like I like to think, what could people get out of this video? It could be purely entertainment. It could be learning something, it could be educational, but like why would they want to watch this video? And also why would they want to stay watching this video? Why would they want to click on watching, like to watch this video? So I like to take all those things into consideration to make sure that the piece of content, you're making is a valuable piece of content. Because if you just make content to make content and post to post, but you're not doing those things right, it's just like a disservice to yourself.
It is. It's a waste. It's a lot of work. It's
Yeah.
a lot of work. And like you said, like there is a learning curve, but you don't want that learning curve to go on forever. Like
Yeah.
you got to see some traction. Otherwise, it becomes discouraging and then people burn out. That's why people quit.
Yeah, exactly. And if you can, I know I've heard like interviews and people would say, post 100 videos and by the 101st video, like then you'll start doing good videos. But I don't think that it has to be like that. If you can
No,
look really critically,
I agree.
figure out what you want to see, like what type of content do you want to make, get really clear on it, get a vision for how you want to bring that content to life and do it. Like bring your vision to life and make it be content that you would want to watch, that people would want to watch too, that would help people in some way, and that people would want to click on. Like your video will do well.
Yeah. And I think like even going back to our point, like at the beginning of this interview is like, okay, it took you 50, 60 videos to feel like you've got that, but it sounded like you were really making some moves though. Like at that point, like you were being critical of your content. And I think that, and this is, I see this all the time because I work with people. I've worked with thousands of YouTube creators, right? And so it's like this idea of you hear this advice of just keep going, which is it's good in the sense that you got to keep going, but like you don't want to keep going like this. Like
like you want to improve.
You've got to improve. And like even going back to what you said, it's like if you're not even watching YouTube videos or even watching YouTube, like that's a first step.
Yes. Like start studying videos. Like it sounds weird, but study the space you want to occupy on YouTube. Like see what they're doing and what they're doing right. And don't copy them, but take inspiration or notice like, okay, this was working for them. Even things like this title caught my attention. Like this title worked on me. How could I make a similar type of title? You can apply that concept to a different type of video even, but just I think definitely like continual improvement combined with consistency rather than just like posting to post and never improving anything.
Yeah. I always say consistency with the strategy is what you need, not consistency. Because your consistency, that's just your schedule. That's not your strategy. And a lot of people will make consistency their strategy. Like, oh, I'm going to keep going. It's like, no, you got to pair consistency with a strategy.
Oh, that's a great point.
Yeah. And it sounds like that's why you're here now talking to me, because you did that. So yes, you did.
Wow.
Yeah. So what principle would you never compromise in your content, even if it meant way more views or more brand deals or more money?
Oh. Well, I feel like a lot of things. I would never work with like a brand, no matter how much they paid me. That was not something I agreed with. I don't know if I can get as specific as to say like what type of brand that would be, but if there was a brand that came to me and I'm like, they're really shady, they're not doing things, they're not whatever, that would be like a hard limit. I think I would also just never want to compromise on my authenticity. Like I would never want to lie to my audience or portray my life to be a way that it's not. I don't know. Does that kind of answer your question? I'm not sure I have a good answer for that.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, just being inauthentic.
Basically, stay my authentic self. Like, I wouldn't want to change as a result of anything or make videos I don't want to make, but remain authentic and keep my morals and standards in everything I do, no matter how big I got or what brand wanted to work with me or how much they were willing to pay me.
So how do you balance that really aspirational content? Because a lot of your content is like the morning routines, the different routines, with being really authentic.
I think so. Like sometimes people will watch my videos and they'll be like, I don't think this is like, is this what your real life is? But it is the routine I do every day. I think the reason it looks so like aesthetic is genuinely because my room is aesthetic, like, and maybe like my clothes are cute or something. I think it was like, I don't know, because people will watch it and be like, oh my God, I could never, like, I wish my life looked this perfect. But I honestly think it's because I have cute things around my room that make any shot I can set up, it's going to look like cute. And I am actually really good at being like disciplined with my routines and my healthy habits. Like my room genuinely is pretty much clean all the time. So I think for me, I guess maybe I'm not the super, super messy person in general. So it's like my authentic life really just does look that way. But I guess aside from being a content creator, which is a bit of like a different thing, a pretty typical life. Like I live in a pretty random like suburb area. It's not like I have some crazy life where I'm doing like super crazy cool things. So I feel like to an extent, just that is relatable in a way. It's like I don't need to be having tons of money or like going to tons of crazy cool places to make my life be intentional and to romanticize my life. So I feel like that's sort of how I feel about it.
Yeah. It's funny because it's almost as if your room is a supporting character to your show.
Yeah, it totally is. Like, I think I really love to, even when I would move into my college apartments and I would be there for like 6 months, I would meticulously plan out the way that I was going to decorate my apartment and everything. Like I loved doing that, but I also loved just making it feel like an expression of me, like it was like my home, it was my safe space. And people would be like, "Are you really going to do that for staying there for 6 months, like for one semester?" But I was like, "Absolutely, because I'm here every single day. This is where, I open my eyes in this bed every single day. This is what I see right when I wake up. Like this is the space has the ability to motivate and inspire me, or also it has the ability to pull you down. Like if your room is super messy and you wake up and see that, it's like you're immediately just like even if I have a few things lying around my floor, I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I have to pick these up," because it's just when my space is clear, my mind is clear, I do better work and it makes me feel immediately inspired just like waking up in this room. So I think taking that bit of time on the front end to make your room cute, make your space cute, maybe make your office cute. Like it's so worth it. Even my mom, she like loves my cute little rooms that I've curated and she was like, "Oh my gosh, can you help me make my office, like my desk at work cute?" So we went and got like cute things for her desk and little plants. And that's such a small thing, but she loves it. She takes pictures of her desks and sends it to me and it makes her happy just seeing it every
That's
day.
so
It
cute.
really
Yeah.
does make a difference. I don't think people fully realize, but like because they're like, "How is this so aesthetic? How is everything so aesthetic?" I think it's because I have a cute room and like a cute aesthetic things. Like that's it.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. Um, so when you're filming,
Mhm.
because with these vlogs, do you have multiple different camera angles? Is it one camera that you're moving around, or how do you get
Yeah,
all those different
it's
shots?
one
And how long
camera.
does it take you? Yeah.
Um, I do have one camera that I have sometimes like stuck to the ceiling. So if I ever have these like cute overhead shots, I'll do that one. But otherwise, it's one camera. And yeah, it is time consuming. Like if normally my morning routine takes me 30 minutes, on a day where I'm filming it, it takes me like 3 hours to film because I just have to move everything around and like show everything I'm using. So it's definitely a bit time consuming. It can be kind of like if I wake up and I'm filming, a vlog of the day and I'm like, "Oh, let's go grab the camera. Let's set it up 30 different times." Like it can be kind of something that you start to dread, but it also is really fun. But yeah, I definitely move the camera around a bunch of times. Like it's a lot.
Yeah. I always see that with those types of videos. I'm like, my
Mhm.
God, the number of different, you don't realize it when you're
Oh
watching
yeah.
it, but the number of different angles and shots. It's like you're at the sink and it's like this angle here, and then you're
Yes.
grabbing a product here, and then like
Yes.
there's this here, right?
Oh, it's a lot. Yeah, I definitely don't think it's something you realize as a viewer, which is why it might be crazy for people to hear that like filming a 30-minute morning routine takes 3 or 4 hours, but like that's why, especially when you're, showing everything to the camera or you're like yeah, it's sometimes if I'm even filming, my breakfast or something and I have like the
Mhm.
overhead shot, I have to like go around my camera to try to like make my food so that it's right there in the camera. And sometimes I even film on my phone to film like a short form video. So I have like two tripods, camera and a phone. I'm filming, yeah,
Oh, at the same
at the same
time.
time.
Oh my
So
God.
I have like a vertical and yeah,
Wow, that's a lot. That's a
I
lot.
know.
But that's why you get really good views on your channel. That's what caught my attention by seeing your channel was that even though your channel isn't massively huge, you get really, really good views for your videos.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think people see that type of content, and I honestly don't know how it's perceived. I don't know if people see it. Like, I'm not sure what your perception was when you were watching it. Like, if you're like, this is so unrealistic. But to me,
No, it's
it
like
is.
entertaining and enjoyable, and it's like you forget about all the work I mean, I know because it's what I do, but like even
Mhm.
I forget, you get lost in like
Yeah.
the whole thing and you just
Mhm.
enjoy
And
it.
I'm actually filming like a video this week where it's like a day or a few days in my life as a content creator. So I've never done a video like that before, but it'll
Mm,
be showing like all the behind the scenes. And that's something I've never filmed before because I'm realizing as I'm filming it, like, oh my gosh, I don't even know if they know that I do this, that I have to set the cameras up like this or that, like, I don't know. I think it's kind of cool because when you're a viewer, you just don't know, especially if you're someone that's never made content. I don't think
mhm.
it's something you would like think twice about.
No, mm-mm. You just enjoy kind of the experience and like you're giving
Yeah.
people at the end of the day, it's like you're creating content so that people feel something or they learn
Mhm.
something, right?
Yeah.
Yours is probably a combination of they feeling something, they feel good, they feel comforted. They're like, oh yeah, she's my girl. Like we'd be best. Like they feel like you're, best friends in your mind. What is that? The parasocial relationship,
Oh.
right? That's like basically having a friendship with someone you don't really know.
Oh. Okay. Yeah.
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 So that's what it is. That's kind of like the influencer thing. It's like, used to be
Mm.
celebrities. Now it's like like influencers. It's like called parasocial
Oh,
relationship.
wow.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I've never heard of that, but
Yeah.
that
That's
does make a
very
lot of
much what's
sense.
going on with your viewers,
Mm,
because then they feel this close connection to you because you're showing so much of your own personal life, but you have no idea who these people are,
yeah. Mhm.
So, but you feel it because they're connecting and you're creating content for them. So there's a
Yeah.
relationship on your end as well with your audience.
Yeah, or, like, I'll see the
Mhm.
same people commenting on, like,
Yes.
everybody, and I'm like, "Oh my god, I know
I
her."
know you. Yeah, yeah, which is really, really cool. Is
Yeah.
there one thing that you would change with your journey of, on YouTube or how you've approached it?
That's so hard because part of me is like, "No, everything I did has led me to right here." I would have started sooner, but I think aside from that, I guess I wished maybe at the very beginning I had been a little bit more. See, I don't know if I could say that though. Like, I wanna say I wish I'd been a little more critical with my videos because if I ever watch a video from, like, right when I started, I'm like, "I'm talking so quietly," or like, "Why are there such long pauses in my talking?" Or I'm like, "Ooh, that clip was too long." But so maybe it would have been being more critical, kind of how I mentioned, like, watching my videos as if I was someone else and really making sure I was always adding value, but I also think that was part of my, like, learning curve.
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
I guess it's easy to say, like, retrospectively what I would have changed, but I think at the same time, I really was on a continuous learning journey. I was always researching what I could do better or how I could edit better or what I
Hmm.
could change about my content. So I think I'm happy with
You're
every
good.
part of my journey.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a good answer.
Well, I mean, you did say you would maybe start sooner and be a little bit more critical,
Yeah. Yep.
So, I mean, that's good. And last question, what would be, say, your number one piece of advice for somebody who's brand new to YouTube
Mm.
or struggling? They're there and they're just struggling to grow.
I think my first thing would be because I think a lot of people want to be YouTubers or they want to be content creators, but maybe have not fully singled in on what their vision is for their content or even like who they want to make content for. I think the first thing, if you haven't done that yet, would be like, okay, what do I anticipate my audience being? Like, what type of people do I want to make content for? What type of videos do I want to make? And what's the point of me making these videos? Like, figure out your purpose. I mean, I even have done this and like wrote it down. Like, who do I want to make content for? Why do I want to make content? What's my goal with this content? I think once you get that purpose, it can be really game changing. And if you haven't done that yet, it's like it's a really great step. And then after that, I think coming up with a really clear vision of how you want your channel to look, like really deciding on the branding, making sure that your channel looks super cohesive and that people look at a content and they can see that it's yours or they can notice that it's yours. And I also think, like I said, studying the niche, I think that's a really big tip that I don't really hear people talking about, but like studying videos that you like, writing down certain editing things. Like I would see somebody use a certain transition or like a sound effect and I'd be like, "Oh my gosh, what is that?" Or a font and I would use my phone to like scan the font. If there are things you like or you see people do that you're like, "Ooh, that's great." Don't copy their content, but if you find something and you're like, "Oh, I would love to take this into my content or do this in a little bit of a different way," like write it down, make a list of all your ideas. I also think having like a running list of video ideas is a great idea so that if you're ever at a shortage of inspiration, like at a time when you're feeling super inspired, I will write down a bunch of video ideas, do
Hmm.
tons of ideation. And then if there's a time when you're not feeling super inspired, you can tap into one of those. I know this is kind of all over the place. There's
Well,
so
it's good
much
though. It's all good
there's so much
advice.
advice.
Yeah.
And the other thing is I think working to improve continually, like we've kind of mentioned, but see if there's something every time you make a video that you can improve upon a little bit more. I know I've heard that advice before, but I really do think
Hmm.
it's true, whether it's
Hmm.
even upgrading things like maybe eventually upgrading to a mic or a camera. I know I got a better camera this year and I got a mic on my camera for the first time. And I was like, maybe that's one thing I would have done sooner because my last camera, the autofocus wasn't super good. And now that I have a mic on my camera, I'm like, wow. And even my viewers have noticed a
What's
difference.
the camera?
The one I have now,
Yeah.
it's the Canon EOS R50. So it's not
Canon EOS.
EOS R50. It's not like super expensive either, but I had just like the G7X
Mm-hmm.
before. And this one compared to that, I'm like, oh my
And
gosh.
is it that you have an external mic on top of it? You said it
Yeah.
has what
Yeah.
is
Like
that?
I got the Rode.
The road, like the boom thing, the little mini
It's
boom,
like a
or
fuzzy ball.
oh,
Well, I put the fuzzy ball on top of it. I think it's the VidMic Go
mm,
2. But both of those. And then even people would comment and they'd be like, oh my gosh, your audio is so crisp now. I kind of wish I would have done those things sooner. But I know that, I think if you get to a point in your journey where you're like, yeah, I'm serious about this, I think upgrading your mic and your camera. I know a lot of people say like they don't care how your video looks. I honestly think the video quality makes a huge difference. I had my last camera, the G7X, it would go out of focus all the time. And it was so bad. It was so frustrating. Like the autofocus was really rough. I know on the Mark III, the Canon G7X Mark III specifically, it was like a huge issue. My mom would watch my videos and be like, this is not okay. You need to. And I would get people commenting. I'm like, I wouldn't think anyone would notice, but I would get a few comments saying like, it's kind of distracting that the video keeps going out of focus. I'm like, oh my gosh.
You put so much work into it too, right?
Yeah.
To have something like that, you're like, oh.
Yeah, not okay. So I honestly think like, I was saying like people say, oh, you're, the mic, the sound is what really matters. But I think, I guess that might be different for someone who's doing like educational talk.
Yeah, depends on the niche. Yeah.
But for like lifestyle,
no, you need to have good lighting, good quality.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
What do you use for lighting?
I usually just try to use natural lighting, but I do have like a little, it's not by me, like a little clip-on light if I ever need one.
Of your camera?
Yeah, and I'll just like clip it onto the viewfinder or something. But yeah, I would say those three things, like if you're serious about content, I would try to save your way up to be able to get those things.
Yeah.
Make a difference.
Yeah. I think it depends, very much niche dependent, but your niche, you gotta, you can't mess around with that. Yeah. And that's the thing with like new people too, is like, I see even in like beauty and the fashion space, it's like, we need to be able to see you. Like, I get it. Like there's a popular advice, like just film on your phone, but it's like, if you want to really compete with the big boys, like you got to put your big girl panties on and,
Yes. Cause I think sometimes when they're filming with like their back camera, I'm like, okay, this is pretty good. But sometimes I can watch a YouTube video and I'm like, this was filmed on a phone, especially the front camera of a phone. And I'm like,
yeah, not good.
Yeah.
Not good. I know. Last question I forgot. Actually, I was going to ask earlier. Are you using any kind of AI tools right now in your content creation process?
Oh, I do use ChatGPT for like ideation sometimes, or for helping me make sure that I'm like getting a good money from a sponsor, because that's something that's been
negotiation.
Yeah, exactly. So
I just used it to buy a car. Like it was so helpful for that.
That's amazing. See, I've been like trying not to, because I see things like, oh my gosh, it uses so much water. Like, I don't know if you've seen those things, and I'm like, so I try to use
ChatGPT does?
like the servers to cool them, it uses tons of water. So I'm like,
okay, that's what really you're an environmental person.
Exactly. That's why I'm like,
yeah.
But it's really helpful, especially when I have no idea and I want to make sure I'm not being like taken advantage of, or I get really lowballed and I'm like, this doesn't seem right. So I think it's really helpful for that. Or if I have an idea and I'm like, oh my gosh, I got this idea for a video, I will tell it my whole idea and it'll be like, oh, this is a great idea. Here's how you could really bring it to life. Like, it's super, super helpful.
It is. Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting to hear how people are like starting to use it in their content of like, and I always say like AI is great. I like it to help the creator, not to replace the creator, right?
Yes.
We still want your mind, you want your vision, you want your what you talk about, right? Your purpose, all these things, but like just to kind of those little tweaks and save some time, hopefully.
Exactly. So. Or if I'm like, maybe if I'm going back and I do use it for my keywords. I'll say like, this is the video I'm doing. Here's the title. Can you give me SEO optimized keywords? But yeah.
And how much of that really makes a difference?
Exactly.
It's the quality of your content. Like that's at the end of the day, right?
Exactly.
So, well, Sophie, I really enjoyed our conversation. You had so much good advice. I know people are going to love this interview. So for people that aren't familiar with you and your content, where can they find you?
I'm on YouTube, Sophie DiLoreto. I think everything is like at Sophie DiLoreto. I do have an Instagram, which is Sophie DiLoreto _, but I also have a podcast, which is called Glow and Tell. It's on Spotify, Apple. It's also on YouTube. And that podcast is all about romanticizing your life, kind of self-development, becoming the best version of yourself, lots of fun lifestyle wellness topics. And yeah, I think that's all.
I love it. I'm going to put all the links in the description below so people can find you. Thank you so much, Sophie. This was so fun.
Thank you so much for having me.
Bye.
Bye.